Solar value of 41 presents us the two of spades, the second card in the spade suit, and it's the friendship card or the card of partnership through discipline. It is the Mars card on the Neptune line, so its cards until Jupiter are on the Neptune line before it then turns to the crown line and occupies the crown line in its entirety for the Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune period. Just for the record, the two of spades has a six of spades first karma card, so there will be plenty of fated events in the life of the two of spades, and it has a very strong king of clubs second karma card, which equips the two of spades with a very brilliant mind. And once it uses that, and once it overcomes some indecision in love, marked by the three of hearts and Pluto, those people can become very, very successful in life. And in fact, as I have done before, and I'd love to do this again, just a brief section here from the Love Cards book by Robert Lee Kemp. And it says, they have strong logical minds with which they can make a good living, but the same logic doesn't help them much in personal relationships. Many are so involved in their work and the power of their logic that they can completely avoid the feelings and situations that test them in this area. This can include avoiding marriage and commitments in relationships. They're very congenial and have success in social situations, but the Three of Hearts Pluto card speaks of some doubts and indecision, both romantically and in general, that can plague them throughout their life. Overall, they have an easier life path than most and should not allow themselves to become self-indulgent or lazy. Often they marry into money. Many two of spades are destined for recognition or fame. The men especially excel at what they do and usually get promoted to positions of leadership. The King of Clubs second karma card tells us that leadership abilities are found in all of them and come easily and naturally when the opportunity arises. So there you have an idea of that two of spades, just in general. Here it says, it carries the essence, the two of spades, of partnership through discipline, the sacred contract of working together towards a common goal. Unlike the two of hearts, which seeks emotional unity, this card asks, can we build something enduring, something useful together? To understand its deeper purpose, we are looking at the planetary influences that shape the soul's lives and lessons. And we are starting off, as always, with the Mercury card. Here we find a very powerful one, and that is the Eight of Hearts. It's the Playboy card, it's the Playgirl card, it's the card of emotional power, but also fixed ideas about emotions, because it's the Mercury card. And here we've got the 8 that again has very strong convictions about how love and romance and relationships should look like, and that is not really prone to change. And as mentioned before, with that Three of Hearts and Pluto, that speaks about indecision in love, that Eight of Hearts in Mercury further amplifies that. It gives a person a powerful mind when it comes to emotional intelligence. They can read a room intuitively, speak from the heart with authority, and carry the influence in matters of love and social harmony. However, if that influence turns manipulative or emotionally stubborn, communication may suffer. 8. Manipulative or stubborn. The key here is using emotional magnetism, which is the essence of the Eight of Hearts, for authentic connection and not control, especially in partnerships that the Two of Spades seeks to build. Short and sweet and to the point, Eight of Hearts. But once again, they are thinking emotional power. And it's a bit of a contradiction in a way, because the 2, which is like fear card, and the fear of commitment, and also the fear of really diving into the spiritual realm, which the spades asks them to. The fear of committing themselves to really deep partnerships. But the Two of Spades is asking them people with that birth card to really dive into the spiritual suit. The 2 is a bit afraid of that, and then that's when trouble is on the horizon for that card or for that native. So their task is become clear about love, don't control, use power, use magnetism, and then that should be fine on the emotional side. And that's also when the other cards, especially Saturn, Uranus, Neptune on the crown line, can really play out the power that they hold. Talking of relationships, we are moving into the relationships realm. Under Venus, we find a 6 of clubs. It's a very intuitive card, and with all 6s, it's about fairness, it's about truth, it's about inner guidance. Also on the negative side, it's a bit, getting into a rut. That is amplified by the Mars card, which is another 6. So there we've got in Venus and Mars 2 6s. So very strong justice, very strong balance, very strong karmic influence, both on the relationship side and the side that drives us under Mars. But let's have a look. What it says, with the 6 of clubs in Venus, there's a love for fairness, truth, and inner guidance. This soul is most attracted to people who live with integrity and repelled by those who speak carelessly or fail to follow through. There's also natural grace in how they communicate values and ideals, often becoming a quiet guide to others. Relationships must allow for peaceful alignment with their truth, or they will gracefully retreat to protect their center. Once again, graceful retreat, 2 element, little bit of fear, but not really confrontational. So they just, passively withdraw if the relationship doesn't work. Communication is important, obviously, because it's a clubs card. And it needs to be just, it needs to be fair because of that karmic influence of the 6 in Venus. So that tells us a little bit more about that 2 of spades. But once again, that 3 of hearts, which we'll visit in a minute, that 3 of hearts in Pluto is their lifelong transformation, and they really have to overcome the doubt and the indecision when it comes to relationships. But sort of once where they find someone that they maybe sort of karmically connect to because of the 6, that they can also communicate with, that's where that friendship side is also brought to the fore for the 2 of spades. They can have a really satisfying relationship life. We already mentioned Mars, and here we find yet another 6, that 6 of spades, a deeply spiritual card in a way, but also with a strong element of destiny connected to it and karma. The 6 of spades in Mars brings an inner steadiness and maturity in how they pursue goals and handle conflict. These individuals often appear calm under pressure, but that doesn't mean they don't feel the heat. They just move with silent resolve. When anger does arise, it's best processed through action, responsibility, and acceptance. There's a karmic undertone here. What they put out comes back, especially in how they assert themselves. That's Mars. How you assert yourself, the clarity that you have about your life, about your path forward. You've come out of Venus. There was the passive energy to the relationship energy, absorb information, process information, and then in Mars, it's all about clarity. It's all about moving forward with resolve and conviction. And here, and with the 6 of spades, it's a quiet resolve, calm energy, very balanced, inner steadiness and maturity. But once again, with those 2 6s, they just need to be careful not to get into a rut. You have to prod themselves to keep going, because on the crown line, interesting cards await. In Jupiter, we find the double Neptune card, and that is the Queen of Hearts. The Queen of Hearts in Jupiter is a powerful symbol of nurturing abundance. He is someone who is richly rewarded when they embody compassion, emotional maturity, and heartfelt generosity. Whether in teaching, healing, or the arts, this queen blesses them with the ability to nurture others with deep wisdom. That's beautiful, because Jupiter expands. Jupiter blesses us. And here we've got a card of the loving mother card. It's about others. So the generosity, the maturity, the compassion. But at the same time, they have to look after themselves as well. It's important, however, to care for themselves as well, for this queen can give endlessly and forget to refill her own cup. And, when you forget to refill your own cup, health issues arise. That's always a theme for the spade suit. And here we've got, obviously, 2 of spades. We've got the 6 of spades in Mars. And we have a king of spades in Neptune. Then after Jupiter, again, sort of teaching, healing, or the arts, this queen blesses them with the ability to nurture others. And when the 2 of spades writes that on its banner, teaching, healing, deep wisdom, nurturing others, when it brings out that loving mother energy, that's when expansion happens in the 2 of spades life, and that's when sort of the reward comes in. So that's a nice notice, queen card. The remaining cards, as mentioned before, we find on the crown line. So we are switching to the 10 of clubs in Saturn, which is lovely because Saturn loves that strong 10 energy for its stability. The 10 of clubs, interestingly, is the teacher card. And here under Saturn, for the 2 of spades, Saturn being the teacher, it finds the teacher's card. So it's once again in conjunction with that aforementioned Queen of Hearts in Jupiter. The 10 of clubs in Saturn says, teach. You've got manifestation skills on the intellectual level, but you also have got that lovely soft and warm energy with that Queen of Hearts in Jupiter. So bring it out. 10 of clubs in Saturn, discipline around idea structure and leadership becomes both a challenge and a responsibility. These individuals are being trained to organize their thoughts, master their message, and shoulder the weight of mental responsibilities. At times, they may feel overwhelmed by all they need to know or do, but Saturn is molding them into a vessel for intellectual excellence. The reward is profound, becoming a voice others respect. A voice others respect. And remember, it started off being like a friendship card, a partnership card, very subdued with that 2 element of fear, that they're afraid, that they're not like boisterous, self-confident people. They need to learn that. And once they do, that's when the respect comes in. That's when they really step into the power that they do possess. And certainly they do possess that power. Organize their thoughts, master their message, and shoulder the weight of mental responsibility. 10 of clubs in Saturn. But then again, leadership, sort of structure, ideas. The 2 of spades needs to become aware of that, because otherwise it's great potential just wasted, and who would want that? Under Uranus, we find the 8 of diamonds, the sun card. The card, another second 8, by the way, after the 8 of hearts in Mercury. Here now we have an 8 of diamonds in Uranus. It brings unexpected blessings and challenges of financial power and personal power. These people often surprise others with their independent earning ability or bold financial choices. Yet they must learn how to wield power without domination, always a theme for the 8, and how to let go of control, another theme for the 8, without collapsing into chaos, Uranus energy. Freedom for them is not about escape, it's about creating stability through their own terms. And they would want to have it on their own terms. And 8 is about stability, 8 is about structure. Uranus isn't, but here, once again, that sun card with that strong financial and values power under Uranus with other people, and also in real estate. So, very good card for real estate, very good card for popularity with other people and success, financial success with other people. And once again, if we connect this to the aforementioned 10 of clubs in Saturn and the aforementioned 8 of Queen of Hearts in Jupiter, we'll see that this person really just needs to learn to become aware of its own power and step into that, cast aside the fear, be clear about the emotional side, and then a whole new world opens up to that Two of Spades. Under Neptune, we find yet another strong card, and is the strongest card of them all, the King of Spades. King of Spades and Neptune, there's a hidden mastery longing to be claimed. There you have it. This placement suggests a spiritual leadership that transcends ego, where power is used for service, not status. If they trust their inner vision and align with a higher self, they can walk with quiet authority and inspire others effortlessly. But illusions of control or spiritual superiority must be dissolved before this potential is fulfilled. Highest card of the deck. But once again, Neptune, illusions of control, spiritual superiority. That needs to be dissolved first before this potential is fulfilled. Very strong cards towards their later years with that Eight of Diamonds and that King of Spades. Beautiful. But once again, this is potential. It doesn't mean that this person is aware of it, and it doesn't mean, if it's not aware of it, doesn't usually mean that sort of this person is living and experiencing it. Yebo. 3. A 3 awaits us under Pluto. The Three of Hearts, as I mentioned before numerous times, marks a deep transformational journey in matters of love and emotional expression. These people are here to overcome indecision, scattered affections, or superficial connections. The lesson is to anchor their heart, to move from maybe to meaning, and from restlessness to emotional sovereignty. In doing so, they transmute their uncertainty into creativity, vulnerability, and authentic intimacy. Lifelong transformation. Get clear about your emotions. Not easy for a 2, but it needs to be done, because otherwise that Three of Hearts under Pluto acts like a spanner in the works, in the life of the Two of Spades. So here is anchor their heart. Move from maybe to meaning, because 3 goes like this, so it has a choice. It's like a fork on the path, so it's like, I now have options, emotional options, but on the low side, it's the indecision. And indecision in love is never really useful if you want to move ahead in life. That's a pretty short one here, our beloved Two of Spades. Two of Spades, though seemingly quiet, carries an impressive planetary cast. The Queen of Compassion, the King of Spiritual Mastery, and the disciplined Ten of Clubs shaping the mind. This is a life of service, power, and spiritual discipline, all unfolding through the sacred dance of partnership. When they align with purpose and trust their inner guidance, they become builders of lasting structures, not just in the world, but within the human heart. So they need to learn to commit to 1, anchor the heart. And once they do this, once again, a beautiful life unfolds, because they've got even cards on the Neptune line, and they have even cards with that 10 of Clubs and the 8 of Diamonds. And then there are 2 court cards with the Queen of Hearts in Jupiter and the King of Spades in Neptune. So quite a blessed path in a way, but once again, all 2s need to step into their power. They need to wake up to the amazing potential that they have and develop confidence. And with the Two of Spades, that is being done through partnerships. And as they go along, their power multiplies, and then they will be very, very successful people. That's it for the Two of Spades. The birthdays are shown here as always. And also, as always, if you would like to have a consultation, if you would like to dive deeper into the life and not just look at the planetary cards given at the time of birth, but also how they look now, you're most welcome to book a consultation. Almost better, still certainly more economical, is to get the app which you'll find in the trailer. So that's a beautiful piece of software that you can install on your mobile phone, and where you can not just only analyze yourself, but you can also analyze other people, and you learn as much about them as you have learned about yourself. And there is true power. And it's just for dating, raising children, partnerships, hiring, team building, you name it. Cardology rocks. Helmar Rudolph says thank you very much, and bids goodbye, and we'll see you in another video, or in sequence, we'll see you with a 3 of spades. Bye-bye.